Maria?
All right, thank you so much. You heard right. Some of those furloughed workers will receive double the compensation, all from taxpayers. So the question is, should they pay back their unemployment benefits?
Let's talk about it. We have Washington Post Magazine's Cathy Areu back with us. She says workers should keep the money, while the Hudson Institute's Diana Fritchcott-Roth could not disagree more. Cathy, I have to say, I mean, based on the tweets I'm getting from my Twitter account, you're very much in the minority with this belief. Why do you think they should be able to keep both pays?
Well, I think people are thinking they received a full 16-day salary, and they did not. Many of these people received, I think the max was about $450. So it wasn't the entire back pay. It was a small amount of money, and it really is a small number of people. And if you think about the hardship and what these people went through, they didn't know how long they would be without pay. They were living week to week. They really sometimes depend on their paychecks. I mean, these people needed to make their payments. They were living in fear that they weren't going to get paid.
But
so
they are
really,
getting paid.
There are a lot of people
That's
who
true.
had
I mean, they were
hardships.
living in fear that they
There were a lot
weren't.
of people who had hardships during that two-week period, not just government workers.
But we're not talking, they're not gaming the system here. These are not people that are scamming us of millions of dollars. It's a very small group of people, and the max is probably $450 a person. And if anything, it's a government stimulus. They'll go out and buy TVs and make more work for people.
Okay, Diana, you disagree.
Well, just because it's a small amount of money, well, $450, that's a pretty large amount to me. And I quite understand that these federal workers needed to get that unemployment insurance while they were on furlough because they needed to pay their bills. But now they're going to have a check covering all the period that they were off. And this is the time where the states can pull back on those unemployment insurance payments. States have the right to do that. It comes out of a trust fund. And if they don't do that, it means that other employers and other workers have to pay more to make that unemployment insurance trust fund whole again.
What about those other employees, Cathy? I mean, isn't that a drag on the taxpayer? Somebody's got to foot the bill, right?
Well, a drag on the taxpayer is Mitch McConnell.
This is for Cathy. This is for Cathy. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Mitch McConnell has his Kentucky kickback. I mean, no one's complaining about his $3 billion that he made off of this bill. We're just picking on the small guy again. This is a small guy. We're talking $450. It's not much money when you see how much money is being wasted in Washington. We should stop picking on the little guy. These people should be compensated.
It's not picking on the little guy. They're getting their full paycheck back. They got 2 weeks vacation and their full paycheck. And you're saying that they should be stealing from employers and existing workers by not giving the money back?
Were they charged
Diana,
interest?
I'm curious. Are you upset about the concept of the double dip or the fact that this is taxpayer money we're talking about?
First of all, when you say it's taxpayer money, each state has an unemployment insurance tax trust fund.
Which
it comes out of that.
Let her answer, Cathy.
It comes out of the trust fund, so it comes from employers' payments on existing workers. So it comes from existing workers. So first of all, I think it's troublesome that someone who gets their entire paycheck back should not give back that unemployment insurance. And second, it means that existing employees have to pay more. There's no reason existing employees should have to pay more for federal government workers who, when you count their salaries, their pensions, their benefits, their job security, their vacation, get more than private sector workers.
What about that? What about that, Cathy?
These workers paid into that. They paid for their unemployment benefits. So this, if anything, they have already paid in case they would be unemployed, and they were laid off for those 16 days.
But they got their money back again.
But they did
when
not
they get the money back.
They're not double
they did
dipping.
get the full amount. They got the
many
full
times
amount
they were charged
back.
interest on car payments that they had to delay. So if anything, they are given money that they may have had to pay out of pocket for interest. So if anything, the government's paying them their interest back. They suffered, and they're given a little bit of money just to help them through.
There are a lot of companies that gave them a break on payments because they said they were government workers, and it's not fair to existing workers that they should have to pay more because overpaid federal government workers don't want to give back their unemployment insurance. It makes no sense.
I will say that the majority of the tweets that are coming in on my account that are against this are saying the government should not have voted for back pay to begin with. I mean, let them keep the unemployment because they were off the way a furloughed worker for General Motors is when they stop production on a car, you know, whatever that may be. But they should not have been given back pay on this government shutdown, Cathy. What do you think?
Not everyone received unemployment. We're talking a very small amount. About 400,000 people were not paid.
But they could have. I mean, they could have if they chose to apply.
But they didn't. Many people did not. So we're talking about, I think, about 1,300 people did receive back pay, and it wasn't the first week or the third week. It was just 1 week of pay. So a very small amount of people and a very small amount of money was given to these people.
You keep saying a small amount of money, but you're not. I mean, you're talking about $450 for how many people, Cathy?
Well, it looks like 1,200 people at the moment. That's what it looks like. So
just because it's a small amount, it doesn't mean they shouldn't give it back. I mean, either they have it honestly, or else they don't have it. Either they're entitled to it, or they're not entitled to it. If they're entitled to it, they should keep it. If they're not entitled to it, they should give it back.
This is legal.
Depending on,
it's legal.
They are not.
It is legal.
Each state is going to make up its own regulations.
By Friday,
some states are going to call the money back. Some states are not going to call the money back.
Right. And it's all legal. This is not illegal. These are not people.
No, that's correct.
Yeah, they're not scamming the system. So these are people on the up and up. So we should not be putting them down.
The ones who are keeping it, even though the states call it back, then yes, they will be scamming the system. And
that
all states have an obligation.
They will go shopping and boost economies in the places they live. They will boost local economies.
Well, if the federal government gave me $450, I could go shopping and boost the economy too. I'd be happy to do that.
That used to be called a tax rebate.
Well, that's the same argument that you would put toward, companies and making a lot of money. They're going to pay their employees and they're going to go back. And there's a defense against that because it's big business. I mean, you can't win here.
Yeah. Thank you both for your thoughts today. Certainly a hot button issue, that's for sure, right now.
35 minutes before the closing bell sounds on Wall Street. We've got a market that is just a fraction lower, down about 9 points on the Dow.
The numbers do not lie. Apple has been losing tablet market